Welcome. In this video we explore how we can use the sustainability principle of energy as a practical guide and analytic tool. We evaluate one of our most respected institutions for its sustainability. Its previous CEO of 17 years polled among the most trusted people in the land last year. He has been awarded an honorary doctorate for his work. The current CEO is a prominent media expert. She was for many years the editor of national newspapers. The institution is Consumer New Zealand, and we're going to evaluate one of its prime advisory activities, Powerswitch. First, some useful notions according to the sustainability principle. The ego is ingenious beyond thought and abhors notions of mortality, that is, change and stewardship. Energy cannot be created or destroyed and continuously transforms. Energy is the universal potential, which is the continuous change. Energy exists in all forms, and no form is energy. Power is a measure, the measure of the rate that the universal potential is manifest. Electricity does not exist, though many different electrical phenomena do. These three vital symbols reflect and generate much of our worldview. Societies that abuse and misuse them soon collapse. So how do the highly esteemed people at Consumer New Zealand rate for sustainability? In just 10 of its many Powerswitch pages we find in brief, Consumer New Zealand is using the symbols interchangeably, as in the equation energy equals power equals electricity equals bulk generated electrical products. This is non-science. Consumer New Zealand is saying energy is a measure, is a non-existent thing, is a bulk generated electrical products. This equation clearly destroys the state of science in our communities, and with that the fundamentals of civilization. Without those fundamentals, then democracy ceases to exist. The equation threatens us all. The question thus arises, if this is such a dangerous, deluded equation, how did it come to be? The answer lies within each of us and the way the ego tends to work. We each retain elements of psychopathy and psychosis. Every society has to develop ways of transcending the limitations of thought and the ego if it is not to fail amidst misery and debt. However, at present the ego dominates our culture. Our modern corporations are the pure manifestations of the elements of psychosis and psychopathy that reside in each of us. The movie of the corporation is clear and eloquent. Our modern corporations have the rights of the citizens with none of the associated responsibilities. They are psychopathic. The advent of reticulated electrical products in the 1890s set humanity on a collision course with the ego and its insane invention, the modern corporation. Money merchants such as J.P. Morgan became obsessed with using the potential of these products to control the entire wealth of the planet. First there was the vicious battle of the currents as these bankers fought to achieve their brutal objective. Those controlling the manufacture of alternating current products won the battle against direct current products because AC enabled them to build giant devices to manufacture their products that are situated far from their markets. The triumphant bankers became even more obsessed with destroying the state of science and communities. They went to extraordinary lengths to destroy our communal knowledge of the huge range of options that are available to us. The direct use of solar resources, insulation, etc. Their prime weapon, their monopoly of the power symbol. The potency of the power symbol is so enormous that a great many people actually evoke God as the power. Greed breeds greed. These money merchants also exerted great control over our uses of the fossil fuels of the planet, a deadly addictive cycle form that consumed the bankers. They dreamed of consumption without limits. By the 1950s they were colluding to re-engineer perhaps our most precious symbol, the energy symbol. They developed ingenious economic rationales to justify this fatally flawed equation. Energy equals fossil fuels equals power equals electricity equals bulk generated electrical products. This insane equation now dominates human affairs. We are all casualties in this war. And sad to say, the frontline troops in this assault on our welfare are our citizen advisory institutions such as Consumer New Zealand. respected, beloved, trusted and peopled by well-intentioned workers, these organisations give stature and credence to the delusional activities of the self-styled energy corporations in ways that no amount of banker money can buy. They form another reminder of the ingenious capacity of the ego for generating self-deceit. By the 1980s, two great waves of change were forming. All manner of new small-scale generating, storage and communicating devices were becoming possible, and a vast increased capacity to deplete minerals and destroy resources. These waves can combine to form a tsunami that wipes us out, or they can combine to leave humanity in balance with all. Both waves threaten the existence of our modern corporations. The devices could liberate individuals from the tyranny of the corporations, and the rapid depletion of minerals and resources now threaten the delusional credit systems that supplied the merchant bankers with their great wealth. Thus began the renewed assault on the state of science and associated wealth in our communities. We entered the energy conscious age. Here in New Zealand, until the 1990s, all our communities owned their local 230-volt electrical grid and retained the right to own its intelligence. Many communities were beginning to explore ways of employing this technology so as to make more sustainable uses of their electrical, carbon and solar potentials. Information flowed freely between communities. 1993 national legislation effectively made such activity illegal. Our communities now had to conform to the energy company structure, with its rigid adherence to bulk generation, debt creation, secrecy of information and short-term profit imperatives. 1998 legislation effectively stripped citizens and their communities of the right to own the intelligence of their local 230-volt electrical grid. Now not one community can buy and sell electrical products in the national market. Their addictive use of bulk generated products causes people to use them as though they are energy. In the process they destroy the land, the waters and the airs. Bereft of options, people lead increasingly desperate and deprived lives. You see, everything unravels in unsustainable ways when you adopt this deadly equation as Consumer New Zealand has done. Consumer New Zealand is consumed by the delusion that competition and choice consists of people being able to shift their loyalties between a few psychopathic corporations. In 2009, ex-CEO David Russell was appointed a member of a government advisory group charged with introducing more competition between the bulk generators. Delusions always unravel in misery and confusion. Desperate to maintain this delusion of competition, David's group recently recommended New Zealand further destroy the integrity of its electrical grid structure. The nominally owned government-owned corporation Meridian Energy based in Christchurch and Genesis Energy based in the Hamilton must, quote, swap assets. Now, you would think $700 million is the same thing as $700 million, but no, not in the arcane world of this delusion. In short, Genesis has to issue bonds to buy the dams, which is pure cash flow for the bankers. Meridian must give $700 million to the government, which in all probability will use it to increase subsidies to car users, and so the national debt spiral deepens. So, just as the sustainability principle predicts, the misuse and abuse of our vital symbols is resulting in ignorance, waste and needless poverty. Consumer New Zealand is so hopelessly compromised that it even denies the truth, which is that the government funds this website full of banker speak. The ego, with all its ingenious capacity for self-deceit, has made Consumer New Zealand its own worst enemy and a serious threat to the well-being of us all. Sad to say, this is the conclusion we reach when we apply the sustainability principle to most of our government institutions, NGOs, citizens protection agents and media. Too often great intentions are subverted by the tricks of the ego. For a more bounteous vision of existence, I invite you to visit the Sustainability Principle website. I hope you catch a glimpse of its wonderful vision.